Walk with me, because you can't change your life until you understand the version of you creating it. This is a space for honest conversations about the systems, patterns, and beliefs quietly shaping your life. We're back with season 2 of Walk With Me. Raining all day, that won't hold us back from our walk together. You're not tired, you're overdrawn. You slept, but you didn't recover. You had your days off, but your mind stayed at work. You sat down, but your body still felt hunted. Guilty, like you still have to do something. That isn't ordinary tired. That's burnout. Take a walk with me. Burnout is not as simple as running out of energy. Clinically speaking, burnout is usually discussed in relation to chronic workplace stress. But the pattern of becoming overdrawn, of continuously giving more than your system can restore, can also show up in caregiving, parenting, school, relationships, and any role built around relentless responsibility. How I see it, burnout happens when the life you are performing continuously demands more than your internal architecture, and sometimes your environment can safely and meaningfully supply. Your system has been overdrawn for too long. Right now, we mostly treat burnout like a rest problem. Take a weekend off, book that vacation, sleep a little longer, practice more self-care. That matters. Yeah, of course. But if you rest for a weekend, or even a week, and return to the same identity, the same boundary violations, the same nervous system state, the same behaviors, and the same life that keeps betraying your values, you aren't recovering. You're temporarily interrupting the withdrawal before returning to the same overdrawn account. Burnout is rarely just too much work or poor priorities. It's often a structural overdraft, a continuous withdrawal from an account that has been sitting near zero for years. Yeah, it can include too many hours. It can include too little sleep, too much responsibility, not enough support. But underneath all of that, there's something deeper that you may have not noticed. Perhaps an identity built around usefulness. A nervous system trained to live in urgency. Emotions ignored until they leak or explode. Capacity exceeded for too long, behavior that keeps betraying your values, meaning strangled by misalignment. So today, we're going to stress test this burnout through all the 8 pillars of the Walk With Me method. So this isn't another opportunity to label yourself. It's an opportunity to understand where your system may actually be overdrawn. So burnout, as we know, rarely arrives all at once. It's like a whisper first. Your productivity declines, your irritability rises, people start to feel like obligations. Rest stops feeling restorative, you become forgetful, impatient, detached. But instead of noticing the cost, you notice the deadline. You notice everybody else's needs, the calendar, the expectations, the next thing that has to get done. You don't even notice when you stop asking, what is this costing me? Instead, we start to explain away the signals. I just need to get through this week. I need to toughen up. Everyone else is tired too. I'll rest when this is finished. But it never finishes, does it? There's always another deadline, always another demand, always another person who needs something. And the burned out person may be completely aware that they are freaking tired. And also while remaining unaware of how long they've been overriding the signals. Burnout is not always the absence of awareness. Sometimes it's the repeated betrayal of awareness. There's knowing that you need rest and overriding it. Knowing that you need help, but you're refusing to ask. knowing something is unsustainable, but then calling it a commitment. Mature awareness begins when you stop calling the smoke normal and admit that something is actually burning. So here's what you can ask yourself. What has changed in me that I keep normalizing? I believe the heart of burnout lives in our next pillar, identity. A burned out person may have an identity organized around being the dependable one, the strong one, the provider, the fixer, the high performer, the person who never needs help, the one who can carry what others cannot. And the most damning part of all of that bullshit is that identity gets rewarded in today's society. People praise you. They trust you. They can depend on you. Your ability to carry everything creates status, belonging, safety, and worth. So when your body actually says, hey man, I need a break, I want some rest, your identity doesn't hear you need recovery. It hears you're gonna let people down. Are you becoming weak? You'll no longer be valuable. That is why rest alone often does not resolve the burnout. The person may physically stop working while internally continuing to measure their worth through usefulness. The body is sitting on the couch, but the identity is still on duty. And if rest feels like guilt, that is not a scheduling problem. That is identity. So, I'll ask you, who would you be if you were no longer the person who could carry everything? Burnout is often the eventual collapse of an identity built on the illusion of limitless capacity. I know this architecture. Hell, I lived inside it. And even now I have to check myself to make sure I'm still not living in it. Because there are seasons when I'm a doctor, a student, a coach, a husband, a father, a son, a brother, a friend. I treated every role like a room I had to keep standing in, no matter what it cost me. Now, from the outside, it looked like discipline. It looked like ambition. It looked like I had the capacity to hold it all together, to keep everything moving, to be dependable. But inside, hell, I was disappearing. Rest did not restore me because even when my body stopped, my identity was staying on duty, making sure my things done. My mind kept reviewing what I had missed. My nervous system kept waiting for the next demand. My emotions became irritability and emotional distance. My behavior became withdrawal from the very people I was supposedly working so hard for. Man, what a contradiction, huh? I was carrying everything because I loved them. But the way I was carrying it was slowly making me unavailable to them. Slowly but surely, I started to understand that burnout was not proof that I was incapable of holding my life, but it was damning evidence that the way I was holding it was becoming unsustainable. The mind plays a dangerous role in burnout in the next pillar here, because identity sets the rules, but then the mind writes the story that keeps those rules alive. It narrates burnout as responsibility. I can't slow down. They need me. Hell, others have it worse. This is what success requires. I can rest when I'm dead. The mind turns self-abandonment into virtue. It makes exhaustion sound noble. It translates depletion into duty and turns a resource problem into your own character indictment. Because as long as your mind can convince you that your exhaustion is proof of your commitment, it never has to face the terrifying possibility that the way you're living has become unsustainable. Sometimes, exhaustion even becomes a shield against criticism. Now, I know, you didn't plan it that way. I know. But if everyone can see how much you are carrying, perhaps no one can accuse you of not trying. And then finally, and you're finally on empty, the narrator attacks you for not running faster, for not being more dependable, for not working harder. The body says, I cannot sustain this, and the mind interprets, I'm lazy. I'm falling behind. I should be grateful for this. What is wrong with me? Oof. There goes that stab and twist wound again. First, you're exhausted. Then the narrator makes exhaustion evidence of inadequacy. It's like you're in the ring and you get a kick to the gut followed by an uppercut to the face. Wow, brutal combo. So ask yourself this when it comes to the mind. What story are you telling about your exhaustion that is preventing you from listening to it? Let's go on to our next pillar, where the burnout becomes biological. When stress remains high and recovery remains low, the body may become less able to shift smoothly out of activation and into restoration. Your hallway monitor, your nervous system, has been on alert for so long that calm begins to feel like a trap. You say you want peace, but when the room finally goes quiet, your chest tightens. Heart starts to race. Your system has been optimized for urgency. It treats rest not as restoration, but as a possible security breach, guilty for not moving. An email feels urgent, a notification creates dread, a small request feels invasive, and then a mistake can feel catastrophic. When your nervous system is that activated, your body keeps waiting for the next demand. When that activation can no longer be sustained, you start to shut down. This is where the I don't care comes in. I can't think, I have nothing left, just leave me the hell alone. Burnout can make rest feel like trespassing in a room your body no longer recognizes as safe. Here's something you can ask yourself. Has your nervous system forgotten how to feel safe while doing nothing? Our next pillar brings us to emotions, and burnout has all the emotional warning lights. Resentment, irritability, numbness, cynicism, grief, dread, helplessness. And when these emotions show up, the person often thinks, I'm just becoming negative. Do I really need to care about this? I'm not being myself. But remember when we looked at emotions as data rather than defects? What if the emotion is not the problem? What if it is the report? Cynicism is often grief with armor on. Resentment is often a boundary that has been ignored for too long. Numbness may be the system saying, I cannot keep feeling all of this and continue functioning. Each emotion contains information. That resentment may signal chronic overgiving. That dread may signal a sustained threat. That anger may reveal violated boundaries over and over again. That numbness may represent the overload. And that grief may be the mourning of the person or life sacrificed for performance. Pessimism may create emotional distance when caring has become too expensive. You see, the dashboard of emotion is not betraying you. It is reporting that the system has been running beyond its limits. So here's what you can ask yourself. Which emotion have you been calling unprofessional, negative, or bad that may actually be reporting an unsustainable condition? Which brings us to our next pillar, capacity. Burnout is capacity collapse. Think of capacity as the central load-bearing pillar of burnout. The person is not just tired, their container is overfilled with pressure, responsibility, emotional labor, uncertainty, visibility, expectations, decision fatigue. When capacity is exceeded long enough, the system starts spilling everywhere. Here's an important decision to make. Your life may not be too big to hold. Have you considered that? You may consider that the way you're carrying it, though, may be too costly. You may not lack the strength. In fact, you may have demonstrated extraordinary strength for too long, without sufficient recovery, without sufficient support, without the autonomy or boundaries. Burnout is not always evidence that your container is too small. Sometimes your environment and everyone operating within it is pouring an ocean into your cup. Sometimes the workplace is understaffed. Sometimes your boss is putting a lot of expectations on you or ditching some of their own responsibilities onto you. The expectations can become unreasonable. The culture rewards self-abandonment. The load was never meant to be carried by one person. Sometimes familiar obligations are just too much. So ask, what am I carrying that was never meant to be carried alone? And then ask, does my capacity need to expand? Or does the demand need to decrease? Because capacity doesn't mean you have the ability to tolerate endless responsibility, endless expectations, or endless harm. Mature capacity includes knowing when to stay, when to recover, when to ask for help, when to set the boundary, and when to put something down. Eventually, burnout becomes visible, and this is what we all see. It appears in the pillar of behavior: withdrawal, emotional detachment, errors, irritability, substance misuse, compulsive overworking, procrastination, the doom scrolling, that's where we're all at, the fantasizing about escape. Woo! It's picking up, baby! Doing only enough to survive the day. Burnout behavior is not always proof you stopped caring. It may be proof that you cared past your capacity for too long. Procrastination may be avoidance of one more overwhelming demand. Detachment may protect against emotional depletion. Overworking may protect an identity built around worth. Withdrawal may signal depleted social capacity. Mistakes may reflect exhaustion and impaired concentration rather than carelessness. Burnout behavior is sadly often the desperate final protest of a system whose quiet signals were repeatedly ignored and overridden. So ask yourself, what behavior are you condemning that may be actually evidence of an unsustainable life? And here we are with the final pillar, where burnout becomes existential. Burnout often happens when someone's daily behavior no longer serves what they truly value. They say family matters, but their life serves as approval of work, co-workers, friends, people they're terrified of disappointing. They say health matters, but their behavior serves output at the expense of their mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. They say freedom matters, but their identity is chained to being needed, to be a cog in the machine. The meaning gets choked. Burnout is more than just the loss of energy. It is the loss of the connection between what you do and why it matters. Burnout is not always caused by working too many hours alone, because a person may tolerate enormous effort, enormous amounts of time spent when the work feels chosen, when it feels supported, when it's coherent, when it's meaningful. But when effort becomes disconnected from values, when the work requires someone to repeatedly betray themselves, the exhaustion becomes existential. You start asking, what am I doing all this for? Why am I giving my life to this? When did the thing I cared about become something I resent? That sound familiar? Who am I outside of this? So ask yourself, is your exhaustion coming only from how much you're doing, or from how little of it still feels like you? Burnout is simply the body's refusal to continue financing a life the heart and soul no longer believe in. I've asked you at least one question for every pillar. Now let's put it all together. Not with a productivity audit, not another checklist for becoming more efficient at abandoning yourself. We got plenty of those out here in society. More of a burnout audit. So, number 1, name the overdraft. Ask, where am I spending my energy I no longer have? Is it work? Is it the family? Is it the emotional caretaking? Is it the social obligations, performance, trying to be everything to everyone? Name where the account keeps being charged after the balance has reached 0. Find the identity contract. Number 2, ask, who do I believe I become if I stop carrying this the lazy, selfish, replaceable, weak, unlovable, irresponsible? Because sometimes the load remains in your hands even when it no longer belongs to you. Because your identity believes putting it down would cost you your worth. Number 3, read the dashboard. Ask, which emotion has been warning me the loudest? Is it your resentment? Is it your dread? Is it your numbness? Is it your irritability? Your grief? Your cynicism? Don't judge the warning light. Ask what has been trying to report. Number 4, locate that boundary. Ask, what boundary will return even 10% of my energy? Is it 1 no? Is it 1 honest conversation? Is it 1 delegated task? Is it 1 protected hour? Is it 1 request for help? 1 night where you're not available to perform? Your goal is not to fix everything. It's just need that 1 boundary that stops 1 unnecessary withdrawal from your account. Number 5, choose restoration over anesthesia. What do I mean by that? What kind of rest will actually restore me and not merely help me escape myself? Because the scrolling, the excessive drinking, the isolation, the sleeping through the entire weekend, it may interrupt the demands. Interruption is not always restoration. Restoration should return something to you: breath, clarity, connection, choice, a sense that you belong to yourself again. Check the compass. Number 6, finally ask, what part of life exhausting me still feels worth carrying? What part am I maintaining only because I'm afraid of who I would be without it? Recovery is not about abandoning responsibility. That's not what I'm saying. It's about carrying meaningful responsibility differently. Sometimes it is finally admitting that the thing consuming your life no longer deserves to be funded by it. Burnout is not asking you to become better at carrying everything. It may be asking you to tell the truth about what carrying everything has cost you. Maybe your awareness needs to stop normalizing the smoke. Maybe your identity needs permission to rest without losing its worth. Perhaps your mind needs to stop making exhaustion sound noble. Maybe your nervous system needs more safety. Maybe your emotions need to be heard. Maybe your capacity needs support or a smaller load. Maybe your behavior is finally asking you to put up a damn boundary. Maybe the life you've been living no longer reflects what you believe matters. Recovery is not always a return to the person who you were before burnout. Sometimes that person was the one who kept abandoning themselves long enough to create it. Recovery may be the construction of someone who can care deeply without disappearing inside what they care for. If this resonates with you, stay with me through this season as we stress test the 8 pillars against the real pressures shaping your lives. I'm glad you joined me on this walk here of this pouring rain, the heavy winds, and hell. Some of you may have not enjoyed this walk, but it was absolutely necessary, and I'm glad you're here for it. My name is Gio, and as always, thank you for the company.
As we finish our walk for today, remember, you are not here to perform growth. You are here to understand yourself clearly enough to live differently. This is Walk With Me, because you can't change your life until you understand the version of you creating it. Follow the show, leave a review. I want to know who you are and where you're listening from. And share this episode with someone who's ready to stop fixing symptoms and start understanding the system. Episodes are released every Monday morning, 3 a.m. North American Eastern Time. Until our next walk, my name is Dr. Gio, and thank you for the company.